Hey everybody, so on November 7th, my parents and I and went to the Royal Fair and we had a very good time. So I do hope you guys enjoy it, and if you stick out till the end, I will also be doing a tag haul of everything that we got. Okay. Please enjoy.
squat in her award presentation. She is the highest ranked Canadian rider qualified for the Royal at 24 of the Longines World Ranking. Here is Tiffany Foster and Electric. Olympian this year for Canada in Paris, Electric, a 10-year-old Zangerscheid mare, 4 international wins, Vancouver, Ottawa, and Calgary, third in the Canadian National Championship over last weekend. Next door here is Jessica Mendoza, aboard In the Air. She won this afternoon's competition on ICAP CL7. In the Air, her route tonight, an 11-year-old mare, 4 podium placings, including a speed win in Traverse City. represented Canada and the reigning Canadian national champion crowned last weekend. Here's Amy Miller and Cristiano. Represented Canada in Paris for the Olympic Games. And Cristiano, 14-year-old German sport horse gelding, 31 podium placings, 13 wins for this combination. Anglo-European bred by Houston. She's aboard Kingston. 4 podium placings in thermal, and as well in San Miguel Allende on the Mexican tour. They were 10th yesterday in our power and speed.
I'm quite fácil.
Great success. She won the first round of the Canadian National Championship. Put a clear round into the second round. Had a little bad luck in that jump off, but here's Jacqueline Stephens-Daly and Freaky. 14-year-old Royal Dutch Warmblood gelding, 17 podium placings, 9 international wins, and we're 5th overall in our Canadian National Championship over last weekend. is your there, the 6 international placings this year. Ranked 28th on the under 25 standings.
Oh, I see where you're talking now. Yeah, it's the type of clip they've got.
Yeah, so there's custom.
Yeah. Sounds like this one.
Well, that concludes our first round, and I think we were off the course back. You said we're going to have 5 points. I said we'd go one more, and we ended up with 6. I just want to...
Well, I'm not sure if the sneaky time looking at the jumps he left in there. Right away we have to jump number 2 again, and that came down more than anything. It's in there. And then the red skinny's hard, and he left the wall in. So right there, just the number 2 jumping the wall, it's going to be difficult to jump in. I think the place where you say the sticky turn, you only have to number 10 to 7, 8, 8.
Another 3 years or so.
Oh, well, and it's a bit of a rider's course, but it is opened up enough from number 3 all the way over to the wall. That's a long run. And so you have to decide how fast do I want to run that long wall with a hole in it. That's a little bit of a trick. And then how tight do I want to turn? I have to run from number 10 option to get back to 9 AD, right? Yes. Or 7 AD, I'm sorry. 7 AD. And that's a ball run. And how tight you turn in. And then like you say, how much of a change.
And then we're going to be set and ready to see that first one coming back. And for those that are new to the sport, we're bringing back all those that have zero penalties in the first round. And in this jump off, all we're looking for is someone to leave all the jumps up, but this time even fastest. So it's going to be the fastest one with the lowest number of falls, which is the fastest clear. They will end up on top, taking the lion's share for $125,000 that our Big Ben International Challenge. We are getting set up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be super exciting. Are you ready for our jump off?
Combination won the Spartans in the Youngster Cup at Aachen, classes at North Salem and in Greenwich. Richard Vogel for Germany, our first of 6. challenger here for Ireland, it's incredible, and Daniel Coyle.
Yeah.
Wins in Dublin, Rotterdam, and Ocala this season for this 11-year-old Royal Dutch Hornblood gelding. Has Richie Vogel done enough? Richard Vogel, lead by Nussar lead. And now for Belgium, here is Abdel Said and Arcadian Giroux. Combination has 20 international wins over the past 5 years at major 5-star competitions.
He jumps the final fence. Just takes the first part of the double down, but you can see that they are real old friends. They know each other inside out. I tell you what, I'd keep an eye on that one when it comes to the big one here on Saturday.
When you have an old partner like this, and you've been, around the world many a time together, you know exactly what you need to do to win a class like this, especially after you can watch and see. And you know the horse so well, and that he took the chance. He ended up with the faster time.
I knew you had to take the chance because he's got some.
A winner this afternoon on her other mount, I can't see LZ in the air, was a speed winner in Traverse City. Won the 2-phase in Washington. Quick horse. Great British Jessica Mendoza in the air. Next challenge.
Well, Ian Miller used to say all the time, try to win it at your first 3 jumps in the jump off.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of just cruise. Right? That's what she did. She was so fast, 1, 2, 3. And then she wanted to just cruise, and then unfortunately just had the block down in the back end.
Show jumping championship last week.
Is this the last rider?
No, I think there's one more after her.
You know, us horses, you know, maybe Freaky could tell you something like, you know, I gave it my best that first round, and I'm a little tired, and I have to come back again. But, you know, I don't think it's much more than that. You go again on Saturday night and win the whole thing.
Well, Richard Vogel came in first to go on his 8-year-old. He set a standard. No one's managed.
5-star winner earlier this season in Rockwood and Lily Keenan. Next to challenge 37-87. Richie Vogel and Levi Nosar lead the way. Our final rider takes the course.
Wait.
That was great. She said, her and Richard, the only ones that got the 5 across the middle that I talked about, but that's what gave her the time. Watch this. This is going to come on. 1, 2, 3, you can see it. Do that. Then here, just arguing a little bit too much, too close to the jump and drawing around it. That was a shame. In the mouth.
Richard Vogel and Levi Nosar with a time of 37-87 will take the win over Daniel Coyle of Ireland with incredible 38.6. Lily Keenan and Kick On, the fastest time of the night with 4. They will finish in 3rd. Then it's Outbound Saeed and our British crew from Belgium. In the air, Jessica Mendoza for Great Britain on 4th. In 5th, and Jacqueline Stephens and Freaky for Canada will round out the top 6 places. In fact, I mean, it was a really exciting jump off. And just so the top 2 both all came out at the plain board. So,
Put them in drinking in the water.
you've got Richie and Lily, the 2 fastest times of the night. Actually, Abel was just behind Lily on 37.16, but yeah. It was a great class, and it's a great addition to show what is going to happen here on Saturday night when we go for the Launching World Cup.
Yeah, what a great group of riders. Quite impressive. And Richard's performance.
This is just an 8-year-old, but he came in here. He's good as a cucumber, super fast. Tell us about this amazing horse.
Yeah, as you said, it's a very exciting horse. He's only 8 years. I mean, it's one of his very first English shows. He did Washington 2 weeks ago, but for the rest, he's very green inside. So it's even prouder for today's win.
And you say he's very good. You can see some of the look and say, look, Dad, there's lots of people about here. And I think he's just seen himself up on the screen. But when he comes in and when you start jumping, he is laser focused. How have you achieved that? Or was he just like that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when he's walking around, he's a little nervous, but as soon as he starts to jump, he knows his job. And yeah, he's very focused. I guess that's one of his many talents. He's very skillful as well. So yeah, I think it's just keeping him in the house race.
And what's the future for this one? What's your plans?
So yeah, we're very excited about.
So one of the spots that the few times I have gone that we usually stop by is at the Green Hawk booth. Had a lot of very good selection. And one of the first things that we got and had us go in the store and that just to check them out were jackets or blankets for dogs. And we're hoping to take the girls for a lot more walks this winter. And Lucy is a huge fan of being outside. Of course, with very cold weather and stuff, you don't want them out too long. So we each got them their own jackets again. First one is this one will be on Lucy. It's very nice blue and red piping, which of course, blue favorite color. It's got chain on. And this is the Tundra dog coat. Very nice piece that goes underneath the stomach. And the nice thing about the inside is the fleece that's on it. It is very, very nice. Then for her mom, Amber, we got her the same brand, except for we got hers in red. Want to see Amber? Did you jacket? Should I send you? Should I send you in a little bit? Good girl. Yes, good girl. Good girl. And for my big boy solo outside, I do have a couple of winter blankets for him. One is his red checkered one, if you've seen previous videos, that he gets when it's snowing but not overly cold. And then I also have a blue plaid one for him that is a little bit too short. So especially when it's very, very cold and windy, I usually double him up. And I might still have to do that if we get the very, very cold winters. And that, which might happen, might not happen. But I did get him another blanket. And one of the things that I learned after the fact is if you get blankets with a hood that goes up the neck is actually attached to the body of the blanket, and that it does tend to be a little short, so you're better to get the neck size up. And that this one, it does come up with a hood up for the neck, but it does come detached. And last time I also got a blanket was on the internet, so definitely trial and error. This time we actually talked to a representative. That helped a lot. And I also got new winter riding gloves that are very nice and blue. And then we stopped at a couple other things. One spot that we stopped at halfway through the evening before the show that you saw earlier, we ended up stopping at the Mada Barna booth. And while we were there, we lucked out and there was a signature signing going on. And the nice thing about this was that I got to meet the riders on the Canadian Olympic team. Got all their autographs, which is fantastic. Third time sniffing everything out. Hey, Lucy. Hey, girl. Does it look so good in your jacket? Who's gonna play? I actually thought you guys were gonna run around a lot more. Either way, they look really good on you girls. Silly babies. You good girl. Good girls. Hey, good girls, over. I see your tail going. Yeah, I see your tail going. Also, when we were at Mad Barn, got a pen with the name on it. And a nice little chopstick. And then one of the last places we stopped before we got separate and went to the show was a booth for the Horset Digital, which is a new app that I have downloaded. And I will tell you a bit more about it in another video. And going back to the blanket that I got for Solo, just to give you a little bit of more detail, it's a Rhino Plus 250 gram filled kit, and it is their Great Vapor Blue rug. The size is 81, and we'll see how it looks on him.